Kept you waiting, huh? Hello everyone, welcome! It's Hack the Dino Gaming Cast. We're back for 2024, bringing you more news, previews, discussions, and the number 4. That's right, you want 4? We got 4 coming at your forehead, your 4-faced, 4-legged limbs. I'm Ben Rosenthal, one of the forefathers of Hack the Dino Gaming Cast, and I am joined by, what was your nickname again?
I'm just Anto.
No, I gave you a nickname.
When I first joined, I was the cheese behind the keys.
That's right, the cheese behind the keys.
But I'm not behind the keys anymore.
No, you're on the desk. You're the the best behind the desk, Anto.
Hey, best behind the desk.
There
I
you
like
go.
that.
I wasn't going to say pest behind the desk, honestly.
Coda would probably agree that I'm pretty pesty and pesciferous.
Pesciferous?
Yeah, it's one of her favourite words, pesciferous.
Okay. Usually we have Floppy and Brayden here. Unfortunately, Brayden's busy moving an entire store tonight, so they couldn't be with us. And Floppy's still recuperating. Floppy will be back at some point soon in the very near future, but don't worry, we'll see his lovely face again. But in the meantime, we are joined by another lovely face, and that is that of Jaz. Jaz, say hi.
Hello.
Are you going to go on camera this time?
Sorry?
Oh, no, you're not, because I forgot to get the green screen for you.
Yeah, it's okay. It's fine.
So
Comfortable in her hat, but not on camera without a green screen.
It's my security blanket. I've got my cap on.
that's all right. We're just giving... I told you that was going to fall down. We're giving the YouTube viewers and the Twitch viewers a taste of what the podcast listeners have to put up with, which is just hearing a voice and not seeing a face.
Yep.
Speaking of which, you can head on over to hackthedino.com and follow us over on twitch.tv/hackthedino to be sure you catch the live recordings and can join us in the chat just like Michael Towns, Dylan the Villain, and many, many others. Or you can head on over to youtube.com/hackthedino and subscribe and like over there and share all our videos with your friends. They come out weekly. Or you can follow us on TikTok where when I can be bothered, just take out little clumps of the show, put them on there, and everyone has a funny old time. But before we get into the show, Anto, we haven't seen you. Live show?
Live show was my last appearance last year, yes.
Oh, so what's been going on? What's been happening? What's been chasing the old chicken? I said
Generally,
chasing, not choking. It's fine.
yeah, I mean, probably that, maybe.
Wow, okay.
Not a whole lot, honestly. It's mostly been work. So for anyone who's been watching since I joined the show a couple of years ago, my day job, or night job as it is at the moment, sort of often conflicts with doing other social things. So I'm, often beholden to other things, which is annoying. But yeah, no, I've mostly just been filling the time by playing video games.
Sweet.
Spent Christmas hanging out with Coda's extended family for the second time, which was lovely.
Second time?
Yeah, just sort of... This is the second time we've gone and hung out with her aunts and uncles and stuff since me and her have been dating, and that was just really nice. Got to know them a bit better.
Very good.
She's got 2 younger cousins, twins, who both very much are 40-year-old Australian men in the body of, teenagers.
Yo, right here.
They spent their entire afternoon just saying things like, "Oh yeah, big fella," to their dad, which was hilarious.
Big fella.
Just calling him big fella, all right, champ. Really giving it to him, which was funny.
That's I get called nicknames as well. It's quite funny. They go, "Oi, dickhead." It's just such a term of endearment for my family. Hey, dickhead.
Yeah.
Why
Oi,
you,
dickhead, or you over there.
Why are you here, dickhead?
Yeah, I get that too.
Dickhead, get the hell out of here. I'm calling the police, dickhead.
We told you weren't allowed here again.
Yeah, the judge said, dickhead, you're not supposed... So they're just full of love and cheer. And why don't my parents love me?
Well, I'm not touching that.
That's what they say.
That's a good thing. Your parents shouldn't touch you.
Hugs, Anto. Hugs.
Oh, okay. That's where we were going.
God, Floppy isn't even here. We're already on the parent... Anyway, yeah, cool. What games have you been playing?
Typical for me, Final Fantasy XIV. Coda and I wrapped up the 10-year scenario last year, sort of at the end of the year.
Actual 10 years?
Yeah, so A Realm Reborn, the re-release or relaunch of the game, because the first version almost tanked Square Enix.
Right.
Came out in 2013.
Right.
They released Endwalker in 2021.
The Endwalker.
Yeah, that's the final expansion for
Sorry.
that storyline.
That name is lame.
Oh, it's so good.
I'm the Endwalker.
No,
what do you do? I just stop
called
walking.
Endwalker.
I just stopped walking.
Anyway, shut up.
What are you going to do now? I don't know. Might jog for a bit.
No, the next expansion is called Dawn Trail, and that comes out this year. So that's going to be fun. But yeah, no, finished that, which was brilliant. Best storyline in gaming. I think it's better than 7.
Michael Towns.
Shocking a few people, I'm sure.
Michael Towns in the live chat has just
Metal
said
Gear
Mid Fantasy Endwalker for the PSP.
Better than
Legit
Peace Walker.
sounds like a game.
Yeah, it does. But yeah, no, so Final Fantasy 14, finished that, just doing daily stuff and leveling up other jobs until the next one. Prince of Persia, the new one.
Ah!
I can't remember what it's called, Lost Crown.
Yeah, Floppy streamed that just the other night.
It's my sort of, I guess, 10-hour review of it. It's like Dark Souls meets Hollow Knight meets Prince of Persia. Fantastic. Don't recommend playing on anything higher than normal mode if you're not into anything that's Dark Souls or Hollow Knight related. Quite challenging. Good time so far. Very satisfying combat. Fun exploration. It just sort of hits all the beats for a 2D Metroid-y style action adventure game. It's very good. What else have I been playing? Shit.
Heaps.
No, it was one more thing, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, Dark Souls 2. There we go. I finally sunk my teeth into the second one, because everyone's always like, oh, Souls 2 is the worst one. It's become my favorite in the series.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Why?
very good. It just looks beautiful, even for its age.
Because you like hard games, don't you?
I like playing difficult games.
Yeah.
I like the challenge.
Whereas I like the baby games. Give me baby mode all day.
I mean, look, sometimes it's nice to just breeze through a game looking all cinematic and being wonderful and lovely. But sometimes it's, the payoff is worth sitting through, the video game version of bashing your head against a wall.
What?
There we go.
Anto, here's a question for you, because you
Hello.
play hard games.
Yes.
What is, or what was as a child, your frustration abuse to the controller? We all did it.
No, I didn't have one.
You didn't have a frustration abuse.
I've never taken frustration out on a controller because I was too poor to replace them.
Okay, that's fair. Mine was, I remember vividly, the Super Nintendo, I'd slam it into the palm of my hand. Like I go, "Arrgh!"
Okay.
Smash it into the side of my hand.
I guess in that sense, I've never thrown a controller, but I have gripped it probably
you
a
go.
bit too hard to make it squeak.
Yep.
But never to the point of any actual stress or breaking of anything.
So a friend of mine, when I was in high school, had teeth marks all over his Super Nintendo
Jesus.
controller because he would bite it and then throw it against the wall.
See, throwing it against the wall is definitely what I would not recommend to
No.
anyone watching. Biting it, I mean, if that was what we're into.
Teeth marks. They were little teeth. Yeah. Anyway.
And they always blame the dog.
No.
No.
No, he was a little rich kid, so he didn't care.
Okay.
Michael Towns in the live chat said he nearly snapped his SNES control playing Lost Levels, but his mum said she won't buy me another if I break it, so I didn't.
Yeah, that was very much sort of what happened with me. It was any sort of first sign of frustration was
Also-
just don't.
Also
We're
in the
not
live
gonna give you
chat,
one.
Patreon supporter Dylan the Villain said he used to have to get a PS2 controller because he used to bite his. So there you go.
Yeah, that's probably quite a common thing, right?
Let us know in the comments down below whether you used to bite your video game controllers and why you're psychopathic. I didn't say that word correctly, but you know what I meant.
We've both done that thing where, because it's the first show of the year and we're not used to talking like this,
Yep.
we run out of breath and had to
No, I
Again.
actually had a burp I was trying to suppress.
Oh, okay, so my excuse was just a normal human thing and yours was just gross.
Well, human... Sorry, in the live chat, Michael Towns just said he wants to bite the Steel Battalion controller. That's a 4-course meal.
Yeah, I was going to say, you'll be there for a few hours.
Jaz, have you ever bitten a controller?
No.
No? Have you ever spoken into a microphone?
Yes.
Have you ever spoken into one closer so the levels rise up a bit?
Okay, is that better?
That's great.
Okay.
Can I hear
You
you
recently went to the United States
I did.
and you took your Switch Lite.
I did.
What game did you play there?
So the Switch is good for me on flights because I'm really anxious on the plane. So I hate takeoff. I hate any turbulence whatsoever. And I've got noise cancelling headphones that I wear and play the Switch just to distract myself.
Yep.
And I played Mario, the Super Nintendo one. I think it's the first game that I was playing. And I don't get very far with these things. I'll just die 50,000 times. And then I played Aladdin on the Super Nintendo and I think the Sega version.
Yep.
And I found out that was kind of the first time I found out that all versions of those Aladdin games were on the Switch too.
Correct.
So I was like, having a go at level 1 and then trying another one. And also Dreamlight Valley I've played, but that's because I like going, if anyone has played Dreamlight Valley, going around and pulling the weeds out, like that's all I like to do
Very
in
satisfying.
that game.
It's Animal Crossing,
Until
but with
you
Disney.
run out of like
Yeah.
weeds to pull out, and then I don't know what to do or how to progress. So then that's when I would leave. And then
Gated
I
behind
played-
weed pulling.
I think I tried 2 Point Hospital, but then had forgotten how to do that. So I went back to, I just like rotate the games until I got frustrated or got sore thumbs.
And when's the next time you're going to play a game?
Probably in April,
Why then?
because I'm going to Melbourne. So
Yeah, it's on
I
another
think
plane flight.
Flights from other places to Adelaide is actually really rough. So
Yeah.
I think coming into Adelaide has pretty bad turbulence. So the actual return, the very last flight I had to catch was pretty awful. Like on the way back from LA, I had a person either side of me consoling me, like on the way down because the turbulence was really bad. And they're both trying to calm me down, and they're like very encouraging. And I basically just met them. So yeah.
Well, people are nice.
Human decency is still alive.
And they were watching me play this thing, and then I like it just eventually I gave up on that, and it was just freaking out at the flight.
It's the most fun game.
Yeah.
It's,
And
are
then
we
I
going to
played
die?
in the very beginning of this month because I went to Melbourne and then came back. So yeah,
Well,
that's when I did that.
during the
Just
break,
putting my watch on silent. Sorry, it was beeping.
during the break, you know how I have like Metroid Dread that I was going to play 2 years ago during my break and I never did?
Oh, yeah.
And then I said I was going to play Tears of the Kingdom and actually finish it.
I never did.
And I didn't.
Okay.
So during the break, I was sitting down one day just testing some carts and cleaning some carts on my Trinitron, which is one of the better retro TVs you can have for your retro consoles.
You mean your Sony Trinitron?
My Sony Trinitron.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, you know what? I actually feel like playing some Super Nintendo games. So I whacked in Donkey Kong Country.
No, you didn't. You played Chrono Trigger again. Just
Well-
tell the truth.
That's been an ongoing thing. But I whacked in Donkey Kong Country, started playing it, and did not like. I've always known that the music in Donkey Kong Country was amazing.
Yeah.
What I didn't realize is with the Trinitron that has surround boosted.
And your extra bass thing on top,
Yeah.
subwoofer.
The music in this game is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, I was hearing things in this soundtrack I have never heard before. I was absolutely blown away by just how beautiful, and because it's a Trinitron, the CRT made the game look amazing.
Because
Donkey Kong
to be on one.
Yeah, Donkey Kong Country is one of the greatest games ever made. Like, holy crap, it is so good. Now, even like the way the levels progress, like the first world is obviously pretty easy, and then the you don't even realize the skill increase until about halfway through, 3/4 of the way through the second world, where it starts to get up a little bit more, and then once you get halfway through the game, man, that is a tough platformer.
Yeah. The original, specifically, I find the difficulty spike in it is like quite sudden. Whereas Donkey Kong Country 2,
That is the
controversial
better game.
opinion, I've never finished it.
I 102%ed it.
Never finished number 2. Mostly because I don't think it's actually as good as number 3.
Yeah, right.
Because I played 3 first.
Oh.
So I've got, first time bias
Yeah,
and all
fair
that.
enough. Fair enough.
But just mechanically and like, I think, especially musically.
Keep talking. I forgot to get something. Keep going.
Okay. I'm hosting by myself. Musically, I think Donkey Kong Country 3 is better than 2, which again might be quite controversial. It's just weird. Like 2, I appreciate from a sort of like time perspective where it was important. But yeah, I really can't do this whole thing by myself. I need
Sure,
someone
you
to
can.
bounce off
You did really, really well.
of. What did you go and grab? Oh, them.
Yes, them. So
Yes. These are
I
the
also
other things that
What
Ben
is
was
it?
dealing
What
with
did you
over the last
grab?
few weeks.
I'll talk about that in a minute. But I did play all of the second part of the Pokemon DLC. They came
Violet
out?
and whatever the other one was
Scarlet and Violet. The little kids go capture animals.
called. How do you feel about Power World?
We're going to talk about that later on. Don't worry about that. You might want to make this big screen, Jazz. So,
What?
on YouTube
Full
when you can
screen.
make things full screen.
Okay.
There we go.
Sorry.
That's all right. It's a Pokemon DLC. Actually, pretty good. Like, I did like the storyline is what it is. Who cares? But they actually did something that I've always wondered as a kid, and I'm going to spoil it. So there's a point where the mystical Pokemon wakes up.
Okay.
And you know how in these games, it always befriends your character because you have to catch it?
Yeah.
without going into details, the mystical Pokemon wakes up, sees you, and starts walking towards you, and then someone who's with you goes, "Nuh-uh," and they have a Master Ball, and they just go ahead and catch it right in front of you. And I was like, yes!
That's brilliant.
That's awesome! And then obviously other things happen. But no, that was great.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
The area, so you're in a dome under the sea that's divided into 4 habitats. And you have different Pokemon that spawn there. And then as you do quests, you get points, and you can use those points to add more Pokemon to it. So you can get starter Pokemon. So you can actually shiny hunt starter Pokemon for the first time ever.
Without resetting 7,000 times.
Yeah, I actually stumbled across a shiny Soblet, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and, unlike Arceus, they don't make a bling sound, so you have to be watching. Although, when you're... So a way you can sort of reset spawns is by doing a picnic. Which is like you bring out a table, you bring out a table.
I know what a picnic is, but
all your Pokemon come out. They all sort of stand around, and you can make sandwiches and whatnot to give you buffs and whatnot. But when you do, you do it, and you sort of stay still, and the Pokemon around you, the wild Pokemon around you, still move around and then disappear before the respawn happens.
Okay.
So I was doing that. Boom, boom, boom. Through the thing.
Saw a shiny.
The shiny walked into camera. And I went, ah! And then it disappeared.
No.
But yeah, I've caught a lot of shinies in this game. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's probably worth the money. It doesn't take that long. They also released an epilogue, I think 2 weeks ago. Also, hour and a half. Pretty good fun time. Was funny. Basic Pokemon game. So get it if you want. And then I got something during the holidays which I could not pass up. So these popped up on my feed. Jez, can you put us back on big screen, please? So I can show these off.
Were these an eBay or a Facebook?
Facebook Marketplace.
Really?
Facebook Marketplace.
Okay.
It came out of Melbourne. I hit this guy up straight away. Now, you may not be able to see. For the podcast listeners, in my hand, I have...
Do you want me to go and zoom them at the camera?
No, that's fine. No, screw 'em. I have in my hand 4 GameCube discs. Obviously, the discs that are much smaller. But what you can't see is that they are Nintendo GameCube NR discs. Now... Do you know what NR discs are, Anto?
Non-retail.
Non-retail. And what does that mean?
So not for retail. I'm guessing, because I don't know, so I'm just going to guess and you're going to tell me. Mm-hmm. Demo discs used for promotion, either at corporate events, things like E3, that kind of thing.
Yep, and also for developers to put golden keys of their games on there.
Oh, so it's like a finishing disc.
Yes.
Okay.
So I have in my hands here, I'll just read some out to you. World Tour Gold Master.
World Tour, as in
the Namco game.
Okay.
Freestyle Street Soccer for review, so a review copy. Just a blank one that was thrown in. And Namco Museum for E3.
Ooh, you've got an E3 disc.
I've got an E3 disc. So obviously I cannot play these. You need a specific NR GameCube in order to play them. So the guy who actually sold them to him, I got speaking to him. He was actually a video game preservationist who has since decided to step away.
Yeah.
This dude, part of his credentials, didn't want me to say anything, but he actually he was the very first person to find an Ultra 64 controller. So when
the original branding before
before it was Nintendo 64, it was known as the Ultra 64. He actually found a prototype.
That's crazy.
And he got so well known, he actually had devs who had somehow procured these things.
That's nuts.
And sold them to him. So he said, all of these have been dumped, which I don't mind anyway. If they weren't dumped, I was going to dump them myself. But that's a really cool piece of history. But he also gave me a write-up of these. So I'm just going to read it out now. These are 4 original GameCube NR discs, 3 of which contain games. The 3 discs with content came from the same USA-based developer, who is Brian Peake, who now works at Microsoft. And include Namco Museum for an E3 demonstration, World Tour, which is a Gold Master disc, and Freestyle Street Soccer, which is a review disc. 3 jewel cases, blah, 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 blah. All have been tested and require USA GameCube NR reader console, because they're not for retail, obviously. But yeah, a really, really sweet deal. I got speaking to him as well. He had a bunch of other stuff. He had a 64 Double D prototype.
Oh, the disk drive prototype.
Yep, he had one of that. Yeah.
Jeez.
And he said, "Oh, you interested in that?"
10,000 of the retail ones get made, and that was it.
Yeah, super rare. He also had a Nintendo Switch shell, a Pro Controller shell prototype, And I'm in conversations with him about that.
I was going to say, you're in contact with this man now.
Yeah,
aren't
yeah,
you?
he's on my Discord. And I actually have to shoot him a message. Go, hey, man, how's things? I'm your buddy.
How's things? I've been paid.
But yeah, really cool. That's one of this is what I love in my collection. This is what I'll actually spend decent amount of money on because this is history that no one else has.
That's history that people don't normally have access to as well. So that's the stuff that, we can dump all of the retail ROMs and stuff we want to the internet and keep them alive. But stuff like that, unless you get really lucky, that's impossible.
And this was pure luck. This was just no one else was interested, and I managed to grab it.
So what you're telling me with that blank disc
is
if we wanted Townsy to port the floppy game to the GameCube.
This hasn't been opened. This is an unopened NR disc.
Oh, I'd never opened that.
I'm leaving this sealed. I am sorry. All right, so we've been gone for quite a while. We had 4 weeks off. Life. We needed time off as well because life finds a way to be busy.
Kick you in the ass.
So we're just going to have a look at a couple of the main big things that have happened. The biggest one's been the plethora of Switch 2 rumors that have come out. Like you, I'm really hoping they call it Super Nintendo Switch.
I really want it to be Super Nintendo Switch because it's a throwback to the 90s and it makes sense.
Should I be showing this on the screen now?
Sure.
Do it, you cowards.
So a games analyst called Dr. Sirkin Toto has believed that it will be an iteration of the Switch rather than a revolution.
Nintendo Revolution. Get
Yeah.
it?
Ba-boom, ching. So
Anyway.
it's kind of maybe going to be what they did with the Wii U, but obviously, hopefully...
Not an abysmal
Will you be
failure.
getting this, Ben?
Sorry?
Will you be getting this console when it comes out?
Will I be getting a brand new Nintendo console when Nintendo releases it?
He'll be buying 6 of them, Jazz. What are you talking about?
How many Switches do I own, Jazz?
Asking.
Yes, I will be getting this on launch day, probably 2, because it sounds like there's going to be 2 versions.
Okay.
So the rumors are that this is going to be released this year. Rumors are that it's going to have an 8-inch LED screen rather than OLED screen. So basically the same screen that the PlayStation hands.
Portal was using.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense. The panels are already probably being mass produced and it's cheaper to get hold of.
Yeah. What's backing it up as well? You probably put us on big screen now, Jazz. Games are being announced and they're not being announced
For the Switch.
For the Switch. So, for example, the Visions of Mana game, which was announced, has been announced for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox, blah, 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 blah. No Switch.
Yeah.
Which makes me think we're in that twilight time where developers are holding back so they can launch on the new console as a launch title. Because you get a little bit more people who are hungry. There's not as many games, so they want to grab the games that are coming out. Also, Doug Bowser has commented that going forward, your Nintendo account is going to carry over onto new console systems.
Yeah, I mean, they'd be stupid to revamp their account management system for the 5th time.
Which implies to me that maybe the Switch will be backwards compatible.
I'm hoping it will be. Unless they're planning on doing what a lot of developers have done, cough, Naughty Dog, cough, they'd be stupid too. There's no reason that the architecture couldn't be similar enough to just, potentially play things like Tears of a Kingdom at a higher frame rate.
Michael Towns in the live chat has just said, quotation marks, they'd be stupid not to, he says, while talking about Nintendo and online.
Yeah, look.
Good point.
I knew it was a stupid comment when it left my mouth. I'm still going with it. Where was I going? What was I saying?
Oh, no, Nintendo doing Nintendo.
Yeah, Nintendo backwards compatibility. They'd be stupid not to. The Switch has got such a huge install base. There's so much software out there that will be cheaper to get hold of for, people if you're buying one as a gift or for kids. You're going to drop potentially $600+ on a new system.
600 US is the rumor.
Yeah. So, if you're going to be dropping that kind of money, you want to be able to go and pick up a couple of games for $20 each instead of dropping 600 plus 70.
Play the games you already have.
Or play the games you already have.
Moving away from that, there was an Xbox Dev Direct.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Really? One game I did. That Indiana Jones game looks freaking amazing.
Yeah, no,
Jazz, can we play some of the footage for the Indiana Jones game, please?
Hello, Zach.
This game, holy smokes, I was impressed.
Yeah, Floppy showed me this when he appeared at my house about a week ago.
So
it looked so good.
For those of you who haven't seen it, you should really go see the gameplay trailer now. It is a first-person perspective game, occasionally going to third-person to solve puzzles. Mm-hmm. And what I love about it, the whole storyline is, what's it called? The Dial of Circle or whatever it is.
The what?
I don't know. So that the plot is all the significant, wonders of the
significant
world.
discoveries that have been made throughout history. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all do the circumference of the Earth.
Oh, okay.
And you know what? That's not true at all. It is an interesting bit because it means you're going to be traveling all around the world in different locations and gives a reason for doing that.
Yeah.
And I just love it. And you know what the best part is? Troy Baker's doing Indiana Jones' voice.
Yeah, so Floppy and I were talking about this. So my experience with Troy Baker, obviously, I think he did, I could be outing myself as a fake fan here, Joel in Last of Us.
Yep.
He did Snow in Final Fantasy 13.
Mm-hmm.
He was the replacement voice for Kanji Tatsumi in Persona 4.
And the most important voice he did, Jonesy in Fortnite.
Jonesy in Fortnite. His voice is like perfectly suited to this because he's got the inflection right.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't sound like Harrison Ford, which is probably a good thing because it would look a bit weird.
But he has that slight inflection that Harrison Ford does.
He's got the inflection
yeah.
and he's got the timing and the like cadence of how Harrison spoke as Indiana Jones.
Yep.
So it works, and like the way they've done the mocap on the face,
yep.
all of the like subtle ticks and movements and like the way Harrison Ford's skin moved when he was playing Indiana Jones, they're all there, so it's convincing, and
yeah.
it's really impressive.
I'm
considering it's
really impressed with it. So much so, as soon as this trailer finished, I jumped on our Fantasy Critic, which we've got going again.
And you made a bid.
And I got it. I put on,
fair.
I think, $25 on both the Patreon only one and our personal host one.
Oh, nice.
I got it on our host one because Floppy also put a bid on, but I outbid him, so I have that game. In the Patreon one, I thought, oh yeah, I'll have this. No, Afronix got it. And I asked Afronix, how much money did you put on?
All of it.
And Afronix just went, yeah, I'm broke now.
Brilliant.
So well done, Afronix. I'm still going to beat you.
I mean, I think I'm in the lead in the host one, aren't I? Still?
Well, for now. For now.
I picked Rebirth, Tekken 8, and a few other things, so I'm probably going to win.
You had some good picks. Tekken 8, I think, has got 8 and 9s lately. Yeah. So if you do want to follow that Fantasy Critic, we'll put a link up over on hackthedino.com. So go check that out if it's not there already. I can't remember if I deleted it or not. Who knows? It's a mystery. We'll never know.
Game Mill, go and get it.
All right. We're going to talk about Power World.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it. Power World. Now, we've been covering this for a while.
I think we touched on it upon the first release, like pre-release trailer they did.
Yes, where it was Pokemon with guns and you making your Pokemon slaves and working for you and whatnot. We can see some B-roll here of just different animals you're shooting in the face with weapons. So this sold over 6 million copies within the first 4 days of early access.
I think as of today, it's 7.
Yeah, but this is just within the first 4 days.
Yeah.
At a rate of 86,000 copies per hour. It also reached well over 1.5 million concurrent players, leading to server issues.
Mm-hmm.
At the time of writing this, it reached the 5th spot in Steam's most played games. I think that has now gone up to be the most played paid game in Steam history. Some login issues for Xbox players. However, a patch has been announced and should be available once it passes Microsoft certification.
Yeah, I think they ran into some trouble with the player limit, and the way it wasn't working quite as well on Xbox versus PC has led to them actually being threatened with effectively being deplatformed unless they can get parity between versions.
Yeah. And Nintendo has come out and have said that they are looking at anything that may infringe on their intellectual property. So I don't know how well they'll go with it, purely because you can't tell me that these people, when they made this, didn't get their lawyers to look at it and go, yeah, that's okay.
It's
because
legally distinct enough.
It's parody. Yes, they look alike. And Nintendo knows it as well. It's just everyone was going, oh, Nintendo's going to...
I mean, that thing does look a lot like Mewtwo.
Yeah, like... They do. You can definitely see the similarities. Oh, it is. You kill them.
Yeah.
You kill the Pokemon with guns and like... So the best way I had it described to me is like with
They're
Pokemon...
called pals, not Pokemon.
In Pokemon, right? The Pokemon decides to go with you on your journey. And the bond you have with your Pokemon makes it fight harder and makes win battles. This one, these are just animals used to slaughter. So you can capture these animals, and if the other animals, like if you're running low and need some food, you can slaughter them and eat their meat.
That's a bit grim. I've just realised Pal World is what Peter's parody version of Pokemon for the last 25 years has been.
No.
Like the vegan, pet-friendly, like animal defending organization PETA, every parody they've ever done to try and shut Pokemon down has been, you're basically just killing animals. This is just that personified.
This is legitimately killing animals.
Yeah. It's funny.
So I kind of want to play this because people have said it's actually a fun game.
I mean,
but I don't have an Xbox and I've only got the Dino PC, which is not
the
going to
Dino
stream
PC
anything.
would probably run it.
I don't think you should play this game, Ben.
Why not?
Yuck.
What's wrong with killing small little animals?
Everything.
Well, you know, they're not real. They're just digital footprints.
I've got two takes on Power World.
Pixels.
The first one being, yes, it looks fun, but I'm also sick to death of material-based, craft-heavy shooter / something else combo video games. Like, either make it something like Duke Nukem, where you get a weapon, you get a supply of ammo, you get to go nuts, fine. Don't make me punch trees. Don't make me build shit. I just don't care anymore.
But you can use the Pokemon to punch trees.
Yeah, but it's still busy work. I
Uh,
don't care for it.
one thing-
Fortnite adding a no build mode.
Best thing
that
they
was
could
the
done.
reason Fortnite carried on existing in my peripheral vision.
Which we still got to play. Solid
just-
Snake's available now.
I'm gonna play as Raiden just so I can punch giant chested Peter and make it look like Revengeance.
Someone's already done that, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I've put
You saw the meme?
thing
Oh,
out
right, there you go. People have said that it is actually a really good game loop and is fun, and that the Pokemon Company can learn something from it, which would be interesting. I would like the Pokemon Company to do something like Legends Arceus was a great game that everyone loved because they did something different, and it was refreshing using their IP, and it was a great fun game as a single player, no DLC. It was just the game. You play it, you have fun, and then you leave it or you replay it again and do the gameplay loop. More of that.
Yeah.
More of that, please.
My other take for Power World, and I will address that comment in a moment, Game Boy Dad.
Oh.
My other take from Power World is I hope it forces Nintendo to go, oh shit, there's more we could do with this.
Nintendo don't have a say in what the Pokemon Company do. Nintendo own part of the Pokemon Company.
49%?
Correct.
Yeah.
But they can't tell, they can ask, but they don't have a controlling share. So the Pokemon Company can do whatever the hell they like, which is why you don't see. So, for example, you boot up Pokemon Go on your phone.
Yep.
Nintendo logo is nowhere to see.
It's Game Freak.
It's Game Freak. Well, it's not. It's the Pokemon
Niantic
Company.
and Pokemon Company, yeah.
Okay,
let me rephrase that. I hope it forces Game Freak to take a look at the
the
IP
Pokemon
they
Company.
have.
They're not Game Freak anymore.
Whoever. Fucking, this is how much I don't care. All I want is a good Pokemon game because there hasn't been one for like 10 years.
You're right. And Scarlet and Violet was a buggy mess. It was like, I'm not kidding. Like, the DLC improved it, but that base game, although the idea is great, not good.
Here's what I want from Pokemon. Give me an Octopath Traveler visual style Pokemon Gold remake. That's all I want.
Gold or Heart Gold?
Heart Gold, specifically. Like, the Soul Silver generation is my favorite era of Pokemon.
I would
murder someone for that.
Yeah.
Like, I'd punch a baby.
Do you know how much the big box sets of Heart Gold and Soul Silver?
400.
Yep, 400 to 450 now. It's ridiculous. Good luck ever getting your hands on
Excuse
that.
my language. And yes, Game Boy Dad, Final Fantasy busy work. The only Final Fantasy game that requires busy work is 13, and I've platinumed that bitch.
Yeah, so he doesn't need to play it anymore.
So I don't need to do it again.
Hey, Jaz, what do you think about Pokemon?
The same as Animal Crossing.
Which is?
Needs to go in the bin.
That's not what I was expecting. I was expecting cute, but I don't
appreciate
care.
that
Not
it's a
goes in the
popular
bin.
Thing. It just, I like Sailor Moon, and then Dragon Ball Z came out. People were on that, and then Pokemon came out, and people were on that, and I was still on Sailor Moon and didn't care about anything after that.
Jaz, what do you think of Legend of Zelda?
That also definitely needs to go in the bin.
Why does it need to go in the bin?
Because I didn't like how much you were playing it. I would come in and try to talk to him, and he'd be playing this game again.
I only put 250 hours into it.
That is actually just too much time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Anto, how many hours you put into Final Fantasy whatever?
If you do That just makes you like a workaholic, right? If you spend that much time in work, people would be like, you need to get a life.
Nah, see, we're in this life now, Jazz, where like if you're not doing that amount of work in your personal and social life anyway, you're not grinding hard enough.
I know, but it's like that's not a good way to be. Like,
No, I agree.
Too much time spent on things,
What, escaping the harsh reality that is current predicament?
numbing yourself as
Yes.
well. It could be seen as.
Give me that numbness.
To answer your question, however, Ben.
Yes.
So my first, I think I've still got my original memory card for Final Fantasy VII. My first save file has like 400 to 600 hours on it. I've played it at least once a year since it came out, and each playthrough has taken a minimum of like 30 to 40 hours. So we're probably talking close to over 1,000 hours sunk into just
There you go, Jazz.
7
See?
in my lifetime.
Well, it's just it's too much screen time for one. Like, take breaks if you're gonna do that. Go for a walk and then go back to it. But yeah, just if you've got people in your life, don't ignore them because you're spending too much time on a video game.
See, Coda and I have
That'd be
both put like a solid week of actual real world game time.
So
Like-
you guys play together?
Yeah, we play Final Fantasy 14 together.
Well, if only-
and
only-
all of the other stuff we do is together too.
I used to have my daughter who used to play with me, but
Now she hates video games.
yeah.
But yeah, like no, I get it. Like there is a balance to be found, but also like I hate people.
Speaking of hating people, 2024 is going to be full of people who we hate, and they have video game predictions.
Oh, I was wondering where the hell are you going with this?
So we're going to look at 2024, what our predictions are for the video game industry. Now, I asked Anto and Floppy to provide us with their predictions. We have 4 serious ones and 1 swing for the fences. I thought before we do that, we're going to go look at what we got right and what we got wrong last year in our predictions. So, Anto,
Hello.
my predictions
Yes.
for 2023. Let's see how many of these I got right. We can either have 0 points, half a point if we got a little bit right, or a full point. Okay? Jazz, if I can ask you, when we've got the final tally for everyone, can you just put the number next to their name, please? On the run sheet?
Oh, on the
A
run
number
sheet.
where on the actual sheet or in the comments, like you've got.
On the actual sheet.
Okay.
So, my first pick of last year was Nintendo will announce a new 2/2.5D Mario game.
And guess what happened?
And they did, so that's 1 full point for me.
Mario Wonder came out.
Number 2, PSVR 2 will sell much less than the original PSVR by December. Price tag is too high and games available are not enticing enough for a year 1 purchase. Now, I don't actually know that.
I think it might have sold less overall, but the prediction of it being too expensive to sell and be worth it might be a bit off.
So the PSVR 2 sold 60,000 units in its first 6 weeks of
Beating
launch,
the launch by
beating the PSVR's
8%.
launch by 8%. So I was wrong at that one. So for whatever reason, I was wrong.
For whatever reason, I mean, it just didn't happen.
No, there must have been a reason.
Yeah.
Metroid Prime Trilogy will be released on Switch this year. No, that didn't happen.
I mean, the first part did. We could give you 33% of a point.
That's true. Let's give me half. Yeah, let's give me half.
No, not
All right.
half. 33%.
1.33.
You're at 1.33.
Okay, all right. And my far out there pick was Sony will indeed buy Square Enix, and that did not happen.
No.
All right, Anto,
Hello.
you have yours there?
I do not, because I'm on my phone.
Okay.
'Cause it's where my run sheet is, because I sold my iPad, because I'm a dingus.
All right, shall I read them out for you then?
Yeah, do it.
Okay, number 1. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will be delayed.
Wrong.
Well, this is 2023. It was delayed, wasn't it?
No, it didn't have a release date at that point.
Oh,
The release date trailer came out in like October last year.
well, aren't you honest? I was going to give you that one. But
Nah.
nope. Switch
Too honest,
Pro/Super Nintendo Switch announced by September.
Nah.
Nope. Square Enix will at least buy exclusivity rights to the mainline Final Fantasy games, numbered entries, remake project, not side games.
Nah.
Nope. And your out there pick, Nintendo will sue somebody for selling a first-party title of theirs secondhand.
I don't know. I haven't looked into it.
Bum bum. No.
No points for me.
No points for Anto. So I'm still in the lead, which is good to hear. I like that. Braden said, number 1, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League will not meet the expectations of Rocksteady and score below 85 on Metacritic. Well, it didn't release because it got delayed, so bum bum.
Yeah, that's a no-pointer. I mean, they're probably right, but it didn't happen this year, so no.
So Braden could have had a full point for this next one, but I think it's half. GTA 6 officially revealed this year and features very heavy-handed commentary on police violence on America and release date of 2024. So he had 3 there.
Yeah, I think it's only fair we give
0.66.
Yeah, I mean, I think what they did show is enough to guess that there will be police commentary to a degree. Like, it's set in, Florida?
Yeah.
So it's got to be right.
Let's give him a full point. Full point?
Full point?
Yeah, full point.
On,
full point for Braden. Monolith's Wonder Woman game will get a full trailer at the end of year, release window before getting delayed. Nope. They've seemed to have forgotten that game even exists. And Braden's out there pick was Super Mario Brothers movie will score higher than 75% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Isn't it sitting at something like 96?
Let's have a look. Super Mario Brothers.
Like the animated one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to, surely.
I'd be shocked if it was anything less than 95.
Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah.
All right. See, a professional would have done this before the show. But I'm not a professional. All right, Super Mario Brothers, the movie on Rotten Tomatoes.
95?
59% on the tomato meter. I don't know what that means.
That's critic score.
But 95%. So there you go. Braden's correct on that one. So that's 2 points for Braden.
We're counting audience score because critics are dumb.
Yes, they are.
I mean, they're not, but...
No, they're dumb.
They got dumb takes.
Screw them. And Floppy. Price of Game Pass will increase. Yes,
Pretty
it
sure
did.
it did.
So that's one for
That's a
Floppy.
point.
Tears of the Kingdom will sell gangbusters, but will not review as well as Breath of the Wild 2.
Pretty sure it's been lauded as better than and what Breath of the Wild should have been, but I could be wrong.
Let's have a quick look. Tears of the Kingdom.
Metacritic versus Breath of the Wild.
Metacritic versus Breath of the Wild.
Versus Botwa.
I don't think Ben liked Tears of the Kingdom.
I haven't finished it yet. I liked it. It's just too much.
I put
don't
35
think I
hours
liked
in, and I still haven't touched it. I got so bored.
So the Metascore is 96 for Tears of the Kingdom.
Yep.
So let's go.
Botwa.
Metacritic. Whoops. Breath of the Wild. Here we go. Brrr. That's my drum roll. Brrr. I sound like a cat. Brrr. 97. Wow. So 1%
Interesting.
under. 1% under. So
I mean, I think that
He's
counts,
He
right?
gets a point.
so we'll not. Yeah.
It sold
Yep.
gangbusters, but it didn't review as well. That's a full mark for Floppy.
Yep. So Floppy's
Also-
on 2. Yep.
Am I like passing out because everything's dimmer, or does your TV dim?
My TV dims. Don't
Okay,
worry
that's
about it. You're not having a
I was
stroke.
like literally about to pass out and like just die of exhaustion.
Number 3, Sony will not buy Square Enix.
I mean, ding, ding, ding.
All right, there's another one, Floppy. And they didn't get this one. Number 4, the out there pick, Last of Us Part 3 announced but releasing in 2024. No.
Can we give a half point for that? Because
So
I think
that's like
3 is
3
in
points
production.
For Floppy.
Sorry,
No,
Jaz?
they haven't announced it, and that was his thing.
Oh, okay.
Announced. So no, Floppy only gets 3 points. Yes, Floppy's on 3 points, Jazz.
What is Square Enix? What is that?
It's a game development company
Company
and
that
publisher.
owns
okay.
my favourite stuff.
And
I don't
owns,
know why I went there.
they own Chrono Trigger as well.
And that.
So
They don't do anything with it.
coming in fourth in last year's predictions was Anto. Coming in third was Ben. Coming in second was Braden, and the winner was Floppy. That's good. He
I
won
came
something
fifth 'cause
last
I
year.
made no predictions, so technically disqualified, right?
Who?
Me.
Yes,
I made no predictions for
Correct.
this year.
You made the right choice, Jazz.
you abstained from video games.
I would have come fifth.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I just had a joke and I'm not going to say it. So 2024.
Predictions for this year is
Predictions
what
for
we're rolling
this
into
fall.
next.
All right. So I'll read mine, you read yours.
And then
I'll read
we'll-
Braden, you read Floppy.
It worked for me.
Sounds good. Okay, so my first pick for 2024 prediction is Nintendo will release a new console in 2024 with a new 3D Mario game.
I have a question about that prediction.
Yes.
Does it have to be a brand new 3D Mario game, or would you accept a remaster of Odyssey with extra content?
Well, if there's new content, then that's new.
Only if it's like 5% new?
It's still new.
Okay, that's fair.
It's still new. I think they'll do Mario Odyssey 2. I don't
Yeah.
think they'll re-release.
I think they need to. It's
Mario
been
Odyssey 2 is like 6 years old.
7.
Seven.
It came out in the year of launch, yeah.
They've got a game sitting there.
Oh,
waiting.
yeah.
All right, Anto, what's your pick?
Oh, are we just trading off like 1-to-1?
Yeah, so
okay, cool.
I'll do mine. You do yours. I'll do Braden's. You do Floppy's.
Cool. So my first prediction is that on the new system, whether it's the Switch 2, Super Switch, Switch 2 Electric Boogaloo, whatever it might be,
Super Switch.
they will release potentially a double pack of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom
I can see that.
that has been remastered and doesn't look different art style wise, but runs at maybe a higher frame rate and has a bit more going on. So a deluxe port that runs a bit better.
How would they fit that on a cartridge, though? They'd have to be getting to massive... Oh, how big is it? How big are they? They're not that big.
It's only like 8 gigabytes.
Yeah, they're not that big, are they?
Tears of the Kingdom's like 10.
That's doable.
It's doable.
That is very doable.
Like, I mean, I've got a 256 gig card in this now. Like, there's no reason flash storage can't be made better.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, Braden's first pick. To match the vibes of all these first predictions, Nintendo's new console will be called something completely new. No Switch in the title.
Trying to avoid the Wii U fiasco, maybe?
Yeah, I just think the Wii U could have been handled better because it meant nothing.
Could have been called the Wii Us.
Like, if they called it the Super Wii, I think it would have been much better.
I'm going to go play
What
with my
about the
Super
Wus?
Wii.
Sorry?
The wuss.
The
The
was. What about the butts? The Wii and the
butts.
butts. That would have won. Michael Towns in the live chat says the Nintendo. I agree. Call it that. Call it the Nintendo.
I mean, yeah, there are parents out there who literally, you know...
Every
even
video game console.
Every console. It could be their kids playing an Xbox and they're just like, oh, you playing Nintendo? Yeah, we're playing
What
Nintendo.
about the console?
The console.
There's a few more than just the one.
Yeah.
All right, do you want to read floppies?
Yes. So Floppy's prediction: the Switch successor is announced this year and priced at $600.
Now, we didn't
He
clarify.
hasn't specified whether that's Australian, US, or Singapore or whatever. So we're going to assume Australian
Yes.
because, and I think he's done that because even now the Switch OLED still sells at what, $549 at retail most places.
Yeah, something like that.
So I would expect it to be at least $50 more.
Like, I'm expecting $650 to $700 Australian dollar dues.
Yeah, look, if it's even comparable in terms of like power to, I don't think it will be like directly rivaling the power of like the current other systems. But if it's anywhere close, it won't be less than 700.
No.
Won't be any more than 700. But
Well, the rumors are it's going to have the power of the PlayStation 4.
doesn't the existing one have that?
No, it's only at Xbox One, PlayStation 3 levels.
Just above Xbox.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Which people are complaining about. It's like, dude,
You want
it's a portable
system
PlayStation
that
4.
plays games like just fucking shut up.
And it's Nintendo. Like, they know how to do this stuff. Like, all right, ignore the Pokemon. Look at Super Mario Brothers Wonder. That game's amazing. Like, visually as well.
I mean, look, people have done wonders with it. Like they've got Doom Eternal running on the Switch for God's sake. Like,
Yeah. Although they've also got Doom running on a pregnancy test, so.
see, I still don't think I was legit.
Okay, round 2.
Round 2. Let's go.
My pick for round 2 for 2024 in video games. Physical media will decline with more titles going digital only, which we are already seeing with Hellblade 2.
Yep.
Sensua's sacrifice.
Senua's sacrifice. Yes.
Yeah, gone.
I think it won't happen here. I don't think it will happen here, mostly because our internet infrastructure doesn't support the level of digital distribution that companies want to move to. Here, maybe give it 5 years tops, and definitely we'll see a huge reduction.
But I mean, here we've
But,
already
like,
seen like Disney go, no, we're not doing DVD releases anymore in
Yeah,
Australia.
true. I mean, I guess it's a little bit different for movies because like streaming platforms are so ingrained in our culture already. But like compared to the US, where Best Buy and GameStop and a bunch of other like big retail stores have already gutted physical media, whether it be games, movies,
But I mean,
music.
our stores have done that as well. Like, you go into Target or Big W here, you cannot find really any physical Switch games. You get a little kiosk, and that's about it.
Yeah, I think with Target and stuff, like, that's a bleed over from the fact that they're American-owned as well. But, like, places like, JB Hi-Fi and what's our equivalent GameStop, EB Games. I think the companies that sort of focus more on entertainment media rather than, like, home goods and stuff and toys, I don't think we'll see a reduction similar to like Best Buy or anything here for a while.
Right.
But worldwide, absolutely. game in the UK, like last week, announced they're stopping trade-ins like of pre-owned goods. But
That's
just
sad.
not going to do it anymore. So
I mean, makes the
the
market
world's
great.
definitely moving that way.
Great for people who like picking up cheap video games. It's good. All right. Sorry, Jaz. Do you have any predictions for round one? We just sort of jumped over you. Any video game predictions at all?
So that's just video games in general.
Yeah. What do you think is going to happen in 2024 in video games? What's your
Whether it
pick?
be video games or the industry.
I predict that Silk Song will come out,
Hey,
Oh, there you go. That's a prediction.
That's a good prediction.
If
but late.
Team Cherry, if you're watching, do it.
I didn't say that. Team Cherry, I didn't say that.
I
I did
Jaz
say that.
may or may not be good friends with Team Cherry. So
No,
Humble
just-
brag.
I'm just guessing because I think they are finished. I don't know. I'm just
Jaz,
guessing.
quiet now. Jaz, be quiet now.
You heard it here first, folks. Nothing's happening
Talked
with
about
Silk
for
Song.
so long, so I'm like, surely it's this year.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. We're just guessing. We're just guessing. It's an educated guess that by Jaz.
Phil Spencer promised it would happen 2 years ago, and it hasn't yet.
That's right. It's just an educated guess and absolutely no inside knowledge at all.
And if they haven't finished it, like, then there's no point in releasing something that doesn't work.
That's right. Yeah. Take
Exactly.
your time. Yeah. They took the
So-
time. That's good. Anto, what's your second round?
My second prediction, I think.
Yep.
Hang on, where am I? Okay, no, I found it. It's good. My second prediction is that by the end of the year, we will either have the announcement of a PlayStation 5 Pro or the release of a PS5 Pro.
Sorry. Can I just quickly in the live chat? Afronix said Insider Trading Fantasy League critic.
Get it.
Careful, don't Yuji Naka yourself.
Busted. Anyway, sorry. Yes, you were saying.
So I think by the end of the year, it'll probably be sooner than the end of the year, but we'll get a PS5 Pro announcement and release by the end of the year.
Hasn't it already been confirmed?
I don't think it's been confirmed. I've seen articles saying that some devs have been given dev kits for it, but nothing official from Sony yet.
Interesting.
Interestingly, in the last couple of weeks, Coda and I replaced our launch PS5 with a Slim.
Oh, nice.
And it's actually really cute. And
Yeah?
it's cool and quiet and silent and diddy and
Did you get the
great.
the bulge?
The what?
The bulge one.
It's only got a disc drive edition release.
Oh, really?
date.
There's
Yeah.
no digital.
There's no digital one here, and I think, similar to what I was saying a minute ago, I just think Sony have gone, the infrastructure sucks in Australia, we're not going to bother with a digital one.
Oh,
if
nice.
you want a digital one, you just take the drive off.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Cool. All right. Braden's second pick.
Coda's watching. Hello.
The Apple Vision Pro will have less than 2 big/decently rated game offerings by the end of the year. It's probably a safe call. $3,500 US for a VR program that's not even VR, it's AR.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it.
We discussed it last show when Dan was here, and Dan got really angry. It was like, we were watching the trailer, and it had like a person sitting down and like choosing to look at photos, and he goes, yeah, you know what I do when I want to look at a photo? I pull up my phone where I took the photo from and look at that. And then like they were watching TV and he goes, yeah, do you know what I do in a lounge room? I turn on my TV and watch that. And do you know what I can do with my TV? I can watch the TV and have it on and then look at my photos in my hand. Like, there's absolutely no need for this technology yet.
See, like, there's a certain few uses I can think of that would make it worthwhile. That's one of them. No. So the Vision Pro specifically is, as people have said in the chat, as Ben's just said, is an AR thing, so augmented reality, not virtual reality. So it's being used to
mesh
the real world with digital. So in that regard, like, this is a wild, like, out there take on it. But like, for people with dementia, perhaps you could use like the advanced cameras and stuff in the current line of iPhones with all of their depth sensing and ability to use, like the CPU and processing power they have to, potentially like let you dive back into a scene, like a photo you've taken. Not just like view the photo in a panel like in front of you, like use the full AR processing and stuff that's in that thing to like let yourself be back in the spot you took that photo from, for example. Like, I think that could be a really cool concept, and like it would drive us further towards like actual VR. But to me, like virtual reality and augmented reality, like virtual is definitely the preference, mostly because I love playing Beat Saber. And to me, like VR is a different kind of experience. Like, you're not just sitting passively, you're actively doing stuff. Like Beat Saber, you flail around and kill boxes to high intensity music, and it's a great workout. Or you can play Resident Evil 4 and like actually have to reach down to your hip and pull your gun out and pull the slide back and reload, and I don't know, it's just fun.
Just fun?
Yeah, it's just good fun. And like, it's a different kind of thing. I think Apple trying to push AR and passive sort of entertainment into the mainstream again is kind of reductive and dumb.
All right, do you want to hit us with Floppy's second pick?
Yes, did we do Braden's already?
Yep, there was
That
Apple
was
Vision Pro. Yep.
Okay, Floppy thinks that by the end of 2024, we will see a game fully built using AI with barely any human input.
I mean, it's not out of the question.
It's not out of the question.
Sadly. Yeah. I put a picture in our Discord in our meme thing that King Kaiju sent me. And it was, this is what AI thinks Mortal Kombat 2 is. And you look at it, and it is horrendous. Like, you first look at it and you go, oh yeah, they're an arcade machine. Then you realize like some of them have 3 arms and some of them playing the joysticks. Then another picture, like they're inside the arcade cabinet coming out where the screen is, playing with your joystick with another like 6-fingered arm coming out their head. And
gross.
like AI, wow, no.
Yeah, not a fan.
All right, Jaz, what's your second video game pick for 2024? On the fly. And we have the request that you speak more into the microphone.
Sorry. What do I think is going to happen with video games?
Hollow Knight will be... Yep.
Just Dance.
Yep. We'll release on the Wii. Good.
Again.
No. Don't they have a 2024 version?
Yep, sure.
They'll release a 2025 version.
So new Just Dance game. Excellent.
Okay, yep, that's good. New Just Dance game.
I mean, look, it's likely. And again, chuck something like that on the Quest or the PlayStation.
You know what's going to be
Store.
real
Done.
funny? We're going to be sitting here in a year and Jazz is going to win.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
All right, my third pick. Summer Games Fest will be bigger than ever just to spite E3. I can see Keeley pulling Summer Games Fest is now open to everyone and we're doing a live in-person thing and you should all come down to the LA Convention Center where I've spent lots of money to rub it in their face.
Yeah, I could see it. And he'll do that thing where anyone who's like capitalizing on the death of an industry sort of pillar, if you will, is like, hey, we're all really sad. You know, E3 was a titan of the industry and it was great and it allowed us to do... He's going to do the marketing thing. Yep. But then he's just going to like pull up a thing of E3 on a bit of paper and just stab it with a pen repeatedly or something just to be like, fuck you. I don't know.
Yep. No, that's Anto's pick. What is your actual pick?
My actual pick, and this is more of a fever dream / like, I want this to happen. It's not really a prediction. This is just what I want from this year. Mm-hmm. I want either Bloodborne 2, so people can finally shut up about it, or I want Bluepoint Games, who did the Demon's Souls remake, to do a Bloodborne 1 remake, because for some inexplicable reason, Bloodborne 1 still looks like ass and still runs at 30 frames a second, even though we're playing on PS5s now.
Perfect for the Switch.
Oh, Switch port could be good.
I just want to point Afronix in the live chat says, as much as I know you don't like Keeley, I have no issue with this or him. I have nothing against Keeley. I just think that
you think he's got no stage presence and charisma.
Correct. And for me, if you don't have charisma, that's a cardinal sin. Like, sorry, I like people with charisma. And if you're going to create a big game thing and you've got...
If you're going to create, host, and be the face of a giant event...
And what's more, you've got a really good, competent host doing the pre-show. Like, Sydney Goodman is fantastic as a host. You know, is into video games, loves what she does.
Townsy just nailed it. Like, Keeley's cool, but he slips too much and goes into fanboy mode.
Well, we can say that from the last show, and we spoke about this. Like, Kojima got 10, 15 minutes to talk about his weird-ass movie that he's making.
With, what's his name? Jordan
Peele?
Yeah.
Peterson?
Peel. No, Peterson's the weird right.
Oh, yeah, no,
dude.
Well, but, you know...
So he fits right in.
The devs who won awards were told to wrap up after 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's gross.
All right. Round 3, you're done. Well, Brayden, we will see a proper trailer for the Captain America / Black Panther game with an early 2025 release date. It will look good and people will be keen. Like, more people than just me being keen. I completely forgot that this was happening. Like, I can't recall a Captain America
Yeah.
Black Panther game
No,
being announced.
I saw Braden put that pick in, and I was like, wait, that's a thing?
Yeah.
I thought, like, Avengers/Marvel games were sort of, like, leaning more into the AAA, like, Wolverine R-rated experience now that we're getting end of this year or early next year?
Probably early next year,
Yeah.
realistically. Wow.
Let's just hope it's not live service. Like, if you're going to make a Captain
They've
America
learned
game,
they've learned their lesson.
if you're going to make a Captain America game, just give us Winter Soldier.
The previews, that would be...
Just give us Winter
yes.
Soldier with stealth elements, Metal Gear style stuff. Like, give us Captain America at his best combat-wise, but also with the intelligence.
Yes. All
Also,
right,
just give
Floppy's
me
pick.
Chris Evans. He's a handsome man.
Very handsome man. What are you thinking of Indiana Jones? I mean, Floppy's next pick.
Floppy's next pick, as Ben might have just alluded to, MGS Rising with Bucky, yes. So Floppy's pick is that Indiana Jones will be nominated for Game of the Year. And honestly, like, if the trailer, and we've all been burnt by trailers before, but if the trailer is indicative of any kind of quality of the finished product, I can see it happening.
Yeah, same. Absolutely same. And I kind of
hope
hope...
be snubbed like Spider-Man 2 was.
I actually hope it does happen because I'd like to see Xbox win a Game of the Year.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Yeah.
It'd be nice for them to actually come out swinging this year and pull
You
out
forget,
some really
like-
good titles.
Xbox now have all these studios that they've bought over the past couple of years. We're going to start seeing the fruits of those
Yeah.
acquisitions
I'm really
this
hoping
year. So Xbox could be the one to watch in 2024 because I think they're really going to come out firing.
I think so as well. And part of that is because we've got a lot of heavy hitters coming out early this year. Like, we've got Tekken 8 just launched. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth comes out next month, which is nuts to me.
Really, next month is February.
29th.
Wow.
29th
okay.
of February. So, Game of the Year might be there. I mean, it will be for me anyway. Audio sync pro. Yeah, that's fine. We'll fix it in post. Welcome to Hack the Dino, where we fix it in post.
But thank you for the
Thank you for
flag.
the first time chat as well.
We will we'll be onto that and fix it for the next show.
Yes. What was I saying? Yeah, like, we've got so much stuff happening early this year, video game wise, that like the second half might be a bit dead. So that's the perfect opportunity for Xbox just to be like, hey, here's a new Spyro, here's a new Diablo, here's a new Overwatch, not Overwatch, please no. Just here's all of this good stuff we've been working on. Like, just, I want them to become like an actual contender again.
Here's Bobby Kotick's head on a plate.
That would, Game of the Year right there.
Jazz, got another video game prediction?
I do actually.
Ooh.
So when I was at Lightbox, this is in LA, which is basically kind of a big animation convention or concept art and whatnot. So you have people in film and games, and what they kind of predicted with AI / other things like Procreate Dreams, which is new animation software for the iPad, it will make studios have to work harder in what they produce. Like, it'll make it more competitive and more people will, it's more accessible for people. So more people will be making video games, and I predict that this year, possibly at AvCon, or there might be more indie games that come out as a result of these new things potentially.
Well, I can tell you now there is in South Australia, which is where we are in Australia, in Adelaide, there is a sort of an open to the public government endorsed thing called South Australian Game Exhibition, or SAGE, where a lot of indie game developers are...
That was for Sega Amateur Game Expo.
What's that too? But in South Australia, it's all about the independent games. And there is a really strong push by the South Australian government to give funding to these independent game developers. We're going to be there to check it out. Well, I will be. I'll tell you about that afterwards.
Okay.
But yeah, huge announcements coming from the local scene. And as Jazz said, it will force people and make it easier for independent gamers to bring their visions, like really impressive visions.
Potentially takes out when people get pissed off about the executives meddling with things like with movies and games and whatnot. If you've just got people that are trying to make good quality stuff, then yes, that's gonna.
So Jazz, your prediction is indie
will
games
explode.
will rise.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good
That's a
pick.
great
I
prediction,
really
yeah.
love that pick.
Especially based around the fact that, as you just said, there are tools and stuff coming out that are going to make it more accessible, and by nature, it's going to become a
I'm actually
competitive industry again.
really
That's
excited.
Really good.
Really excited.
And like the thing that is like, video games are more lucrative because like people can play them as they're being made and test them. Whereas like with films, you can't really show a film as a work in progress until like at least the story is kind of done. So you can't gauge interest yet. So that's why I just.
That's a good
say
pick.
that games are.
All right, because we're running short on time, I'm going to burst through this.
Shut up.
All right, my last pick before we get to the non-legitimate one. Quite simply, cozy games will become more popular. I think we saw the rise towards the end of the last year, especially independent games. You saw a lot more of these games with just about feel good, having fun, relaxing. There's no huge combat. It's just about having a good time. Unpacking was fantastic.
Dreamlight Valley, even though it was kind of corporate, but you know.
Well, corporate can give you good things. Look at Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
But I think the burst of Animal Crossing certainly led the way. Stardew Valley led the way to these games where you can just have fun, relax, and enjoy your time away from the harsh reality that we live in. That's my pick. Anto, what's your last pick?
My last pick is an Xbox prediction. I think, or would like to see. So a couple of years ago, Xbox were releasing or touting, well, not Xbox, Microsoft specifically, were touting this sort of like virtual reality hardware and software that created stuff in a space in front of you using like projection technology and like
Holodecks.
Holodecks, effectively. I want something like that to come out so you can actually do stuff like, if anyone remembers it, the Eye of Judgment on the PS3. It was like a camera that you slid monster cards into and you could play Yu-Gi-Oh! And stuff.
Yep.
I want stuff like that to happen. HoloLens, that's the one. I want that to be a thing and make it Xbox-centric and make it so that you can have like, I don't know, like
their really famous mascot.
The big brain pick would be give HoloLens, let us play like Baldur's Gate 3, but like a tabletop game. That'd be super cool.
Like in Star Wars, when they play that chess game.
So some kind of VR or AR thing from Microsoft announced by the end of the year.
Braden's pick. By the end of the year, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League will be close to death, and a roadmap of updates and future content will already be pretty dire. It hasn't even released yet, and I think it's pretty close to dead from the reviews I saw.
Pretty sure, like the alpha hands-on and stuff, people are like, yeah, this is not it.
Yeah. No, I think he's gone. All right, and Floppy's last pick.
Floppy's final pick. Prediction is we will see a release date and trailer for Wolverine at some point this year.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
Yep.
Jazz, what's your last pick?
Doesn't Michael Towns also make games?
Yes.
Michael Towns, we're going to talk about that very
I
shortly.
predict that he will be making or releasing another game this year.
Oh,
Ooh.
good pick.
New game from Game Boy Games.
New
Because
pick
if-
from...
If the conversation we just had doesn't inspire him to do something, like, he might already have something under his belt. But
Oh, I'm pretty sure Michael Towns has quite a few things under his belt.
well, that is my prediction.
Floppy game meets Power World with guns.
Well,
Ben rocking around shooting his other hosts.
I hey, it could happen.
I mean,
I don't want to be harsh, but mellow your expectations.
yes, the harshest of
Mellows.
mellows.
That's right. Big old Kirby.
I now only do novels in video game form, but in Braille.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna we'll power through these predictions. I'll do Townsy first, and we'll throw to you.
You go Townsy, I go Game Boy, you go Triple, I
Yep,
go
sounds good.
Sutek.
Okay, so Michael Towns from our live chat says Red Dead 2 and GTA 5 for the Switch 2 launch. Square Enix will have at least 2 trailers for newly announced games that will 100% definitely look like something Chrono Trigger related, till the logo pops up and it will be a new Mystic Quest or some shit. Opposite the last few years' rush for acquisitions, I think the amount of layoffs lately will evolve into a bunch of unexpected studio closures and some publishers too, including a big AAA one, which then will bleed into next year, also having an opposite of 2023 style game drought, which I think is a pretty reasonable prediction, actually.
There's 2 ways that all the layoffs go, right? It's that we either run into a drought of video games
or
which is the
AI.
opposite of last year, or the people who are laid off create their own independent studios and we get more games.
Really, last year was freaking amazing
Last
for
year
video
was
game release.
crazy
Like
game.
Rivals
Yeah.
2017? Yeah.
2017 was the other good, like really good year.
So 2009 was the other bang? Yeah. And then 97.
97 was a fantastic year.
Or 98, when Zelda came out, not Final Fantasy 7.
Well, I mean, shut up.
All right, what a Game Boy Dad pick.
Game Boy Dad predicts that Chrono Trigger will be completely ignored again. That is all.
Yeah, thanks, Game Boy Dad. I hope there is a re-release for Chrono Trigger. Like, they're sitting on money. We've been through this so many times.
Square Enix, if you're listening.
Have you emailed them, Ben?
I have.
Square Enix,
Okay.
big fan. Already pre-ordered like multiple versions of Rebirth. If you give me the statue edition, I'll buy that too. Just do it. But also, Chrono Trigger.
Come on.
You've got the Octopath engine.
He's our baby boy.
Just give us Chrono Trigger with Octopath visuals.
Please.
Give us 2D HD.
Look, I don't
Just do
mind if it drops the value of this Super Nintendo cartridge I have in my hands. I don't mind. Just
If you do it,
do it, please.
So is this one
Do
not
it.
on the Switch?
No. It's only ever been remade once on the DS, and
PS1.
that's and the PS1. Sorry, yes, of course. Well, it was a port, but yeah. Triple Indie, Nintendo will release a new console, or it will be very slim pickings for 2024. Good point. Well done, Triple Indie.
Yep.
What is I
apologize if I get this name wrong. I'm completely not familiar with who this person is, but they've recently joined the Patreon and Hack the Dino and our Discord.
And we appreciate
that's
it.
great, and we
And if
appreciate that.
you would like to join, head on over to hackthedino.com, and for as little as $2 a month, you can have your name running along the bottom here.
New Patreon tier. Pay us $1,000 and I'll tattoo your name on my butt.
Really?
No.
Oh.
So Sutek, apologies if it's mispronounced, predicts that given the layoffs, they predict that Microsoft/Xbox will snap up more studios to help feed the Game Pass machine. Sony will also acquire one more studio and sign on more third-party exclusives. Nintendo will announce and release for Switch 2, which will just be a more powerful Switch, but will also allow you to dual screen with a TV, which is an interesting concept.
Not really. It's the Wii U.
See, I think I might have mentioned this in like my left field predictions, but yeah.
All right, do you
I'll
want to
elaborate in a second.
Yeah, do you want to read Dylan's?
Where's Dylan's?
Dylan the Villain? Should be there?
Nah,
Nope.
not on my screen.
Okay, hasn't updated. So Dylan the Villain says, my prediction, although not as good as the one, Dylan being unnecessarily self-deprecating.
Yeah, stop
that,
being
Dylan.
self-deprecating.
We will continue to see a price rise in consoles and Game Pass PlayStation Plus, and I completely agree.
Agreed.
Like, that's only one way they're going up.
Yeah, it's the nature of capitalism, not to be all like, oh, capitalism's bad, but it is.
It is.
The other company that just had layoffs.
They all have.
There's been so many.
Riot Games just the other day laid off 500 people. It was
What was
ridiculous.
that?
Riot Games?
Yeah, Riot. That's what I heard. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Game Pass, PlayStation Plus, consoles, just gaming in general, it's probably just going to keep getting more expensive until people start voting with their wallets.
Okay. Far out left field prediction. I'm tweaking last year's one slightly. PlayStation will announce its intent to buy Square Enix. It's still going to happen.
So similar to Microsoft's intent to buy Sega, which was shot down by Sega straight away.
Yep, that's right. And
Fair.
yeah, that was one of my picks one year as well. So good.
Yeah. My out of left field pick is that, similar to what Sutek has predicted, we get something that lets you use your Switch 2 with a TV. So my vision for it, and it could backfire, it could, be the worst decision or best decision I ever make. I think if we were to get something like, the current sort of Switch as it is, but a bit more powerful for portable use, and then I think Nintendo really needs to lean into this idea of a dock that has like a separate graphics card or something in it that allows you to dock the main part of a system, maybe even have like a companion device that you can use, similar to like the PlayStation Portal, but not relying on like internet streaming. Using the proprietary streaming the Wii U used to give you a display on a controller on the couch that you can still take with you out of the house. Some kind of hybridization of all of the experimental stuff they've done the last couple of like generations. Give me a portable, powerful Switch that I can play at home and have a second screen on. Just, it's a great idea. I think they should do it.
Braden. Braden's far out their pick, which, it's not that far out because it's Hollywood. Braden says Jeff Keighley will end up in legal trouble.
Undefined legal trouble, and this is all alleged.
Hey.
So we cannot be sued.
Jeff Keighley could get a parking ticket. Technically, that's legal trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
So there you go.
Or he could file his taxes wrong.
Yeah. Or he could sue us for defaming him.
Please don't sue us.
Well, I haven't got any money. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, me neither. I've got no assets. Please don't.
What does Floppy think?
Floppy thinks that there will be a Steam app or integration with the Xbox platform.
That's a big call.
Big call.
Big
also
call.
quite likely given the Windows-based architecture of the Xbox users.
Yeah, but it's Valve. They don't like playing with others.
Yeah, that's true. But they have also been looking for an in into your lounge room for about 10 years now.
It's true. All right, Jazz, what's your last pick?
That Chrono Trigger will appear on the Switch Lite, or I will play it, or both.
I think one of those
Oh.
predictions can happen because I have Chrono Trigger sitting less than 2 meters away from you
Yes.
in a console.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll start a game. I can teach you how to play it.
Yeah.
You can fall in love with the wonderful characters of that marvelous
we'll see
world.
about that.
We'll see about that.
But we've been Hack the Dino. This has been our gaming cast, where we bring you the past, present, and future of video games news, previews, and discussions. But this isn't all we do. Anto!
Hello.
What do you do?
Not a whole lot outside of this. I have an Instagram that you can go and take a look at. It's final_fantasy. So FANTOSY.
It's Anto and Fantasy. Like,
Yeah, it's just Anto and Fantasy. It's just
easy.
it's everything you need.
Yeah.
I literally just share my video game collection, which is mostly Final Fantasy stuff. I occasionally put other things up there too. I haven't recently. I've been meaning to take like in-depth pictures of like some of the bigger purchases, but I just haven't got around to it. The most recent pickup, which is actually at the top left there, Jazz. That one is an Advent Children era figurine of Kadaj from the movie.
And what about those shoes there?
Those shoes are a Puma X Final Fantasy XIV collaboration. So they've got Final Fantasy XIV symbolism and monsters and stuff all over them,
That's
which is
awesome.
really cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
I didn't expect to run across them here because I thought they were going to be like a US release only.
Mm-hmm.
I was just randomly existing at work one day, got a call from Floppy. He was like, hey, I was just in Foot Locker and saw these shoes. So next day, obviously, I'm down there. Both Code and I now have a pair of these.
That's awesome. Are you going to wear them?
I've worn them a few times.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Awesome.
They are very comfortable, but I'm also very conscious of the fact that I have really wide Street Fighter-esque feet.
Nice.
So I kind of don't want to wear them too often because I will eventually just...
Are we talking Ryu level or Blank?
Ryu kind of feet.
Oh, so not Blanka level?
No, not quite like monsterish.
Just
but
flat.
Flat and wide at the front.
Yeah, right.
Good for kicking, but not much else.
Good. Or buoyancy.
And yeah, like I'll occasionally share on here as well trophy updates because I'm a pretty big trophy collector. I like platinum in games.
Mm-hmm.
Most recent one was Spider-Man Remastered, as you can see. I am 92% through Dark Souls 2 at the moment.
Nice.
And after that's done, we'll be moving on to Bloodborne.
Sweet. You should stream some.
Yeah, been thinking about it. My PC's good to go again.
You should. You should. On Hack the Dino.
Oh, there's some Beat Saber stuff up there as well. I occasionally do video gamey Beat Saber-y stuff and put that up there just because it's fun.
Jazz.
But yeah.
Jazz, do you want to plug anything?
No.
No?
I think I'm okay.
Nope, Jazz isn't plugging anything. Well, I'll plug.
I haven't done Spider-Man 2 yet, Mr. A-Game. I spent far too long doing Spider-Man 1, so I'm giving myself a bit of a break.
Oh, it's a good idea.
Because they're quite similar from what I hear.
So I obviously do bad game arts, but I haven't done anything since Christmas, so we won't mention that. But I have started up a new little thing. I've decided to get a GoPro and go out and film my retro hunting expeditions. So you can see that over on Super Retro Squad. It's on YouTube. It's on
TikTok.
Instagram. It's Instagram. Yes, thank you, Anto.
Facebook.
Super Retro. That's not on Facebook. Super Retro Squad. Do a search for that. Give us a like. Give us a sub. They're all good to go. But yeah, it's basically me editing down video footage of just
Hunting
walking
in the
around
wild.
hunting.
Yeah.
And Braden actually said to me, "Oh, it's actually really Moorish. It's good just to put on." I'm going to try and get a little bit more chatty and a little bit more, entertaining on it because at the moment it's just basically raw footage. But yeah, head on over to Super Retro Squad on all the things where you can check out me and friend of the show, Ghost Games, as we go hunting for retro video game stuff. We actually find a surprising lot. Like it's pretty cool. I thought it was almost dead, but no, there's still quite a lot out there.
Yeah.
So you should totally check that out. I'd also like to thank our Patreons. Would you like to thank the Patreons?
I have
Anto?
a list in front of me, so I can't do it.
Okay, I will say thank you to Seth, aka Sutek. I think that's her
I'm
name.
pretty sure it's Sutek, but please correct us if we're wrong.
Ash Knight, Karen Knight, Dylan the Villain, Triple Indy, Michael Towns, and Game Boy Dad. Game Boy Dad. But please head on over to hackthedino.com, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, leave a review. All these things help us grow. I don't know who I'm talking to because the majority of people have turned off by now, which is disappointing because they won't be here to hear this fun fact. That's where you cut it, Jazz.